see. All right, everybody. Welcome to a special edition of Minor Obsession. We've got the man, the myth, the legend, the greatest coach in Charlotte 49er football history, Coach Will Healy, on the line, only man to take us to a bowl game. Welcome to the podcast. Thanks for joining us yet again for a whole new season, whole lot of fun.
You obviously have the wrong guy, but glad to be on with y'all. And it has been an interesting year already for sure. So I appreciate all y'all's support.
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
Two fans do this on the side for fun. I feel like we can talk like fans, and it's been tough for the fans. So I can only imagine how this season's been for the coaches and the athletes, getting up for games and then getting down for games and then back up for games.
Yeah, I mean, last Thursday at 10:30, when I get a phone call from Mike Hill saying that the game's been canceled, call an emergency staff meeting and have to look 30 people in the eye and say, you've done an unbelievable job of game planning. I feel great about our game plan, but 10:30 on Thursday night, we're not playing this Saturday. Then you got to come in, and I sent a text message to our team because I just knew social media would get to it before I could get to them. And I knew if I tried to do a Zoom call that it'd be midnight before I could get everybody on, and some guys would already be asleep, just like some staff was already asleep, and so I addressed it with them the next morning, and it's devastating. I mean, it sucks to be the guy that has to continue to deliver that news, meanwhile continue to ask of them to go get testing and go wear a mask and go separate from one another. And so, yeah, I mean, it's been a challenge, but I am so proud of how everybody in this building has responded. And I think that's what is going to make this such a unique and special season by the time it's all said and done, is what we will have overcome. And the progress that our football team has made has been awesome. It's been very rewarding for sure.
Can you dive a little into being a coach in the pandemic, right? We're talking a little bit about, we've had 3 games now canceled, but also from the recruiting standpoint and also the scheduling. I know Mike Hill's done a great job with adding all these different games, but obviously you weren't prepared for those in June. So can you talk about kind of that whole mesh of things that's happening right now?
Well, I mean, as far as the schedule is concerned and how to handle it, I don't know if anybody, was able to give you a whole lot of guidance on that. What I did was I tried to call as many different people as I could who were going through it and say, how are you handling it? And learn as much as I could. I mean, see who's got better ideas than I have, and learn from other people. Scheduling is still not done. I mean, we're going to be scheduling this thing all the way up until probably January. It's week to week. And when can you reschedule some of the games that we've lost? And, we've got an open date. Can we find another one to schedule, moving forward? So it's been a bunch of new challenges that I don't think you expect to be dealing with middle of the season. But they've been fun. I mean, being on the phone with Mac Brown in July or August talking about, can we find a way to work it out and go play you? That was cool for me. Talking to Sean Clark about, could we find a way to being involved in that process of scheduling. You felt like a little bit of a rec league coach when you're out there at practice and you're off to the side talking to another, you're talking to Mac Brown on the phone about, can we go play North Carolina? But it was unique and it was fun. You got to enjoy it. I mean, I think you got to roll with the punches. And that's one thing that I think our staff does a really good job of, and our players do a really good job of, is that, look, this is going to be a year like no other, I hope, because if I got to do it like this for another 10 or 15 years, I'm going to be selling insurance or doing something like that. I can't do this that much longer, but we've got to enjoy and control. We got to enjoy doing what we're doing and control what we can control.
Yeah, that speaking of Mac Brown, the Chapel Hill game ends up being the first game that gets canceled or postponed due to COVID coming out of the App State game. What hit harder? Was it that first one being told getting the team hyped up for a really important game and being told, hey, it's not happening? Or was it the week after when it was, all right, we made it through one, now we're going to get to play, and then boom, another week in a row without being able to get out on the field?
I think they get progressively harder. Each one that you're building on some cancellations, the negativity creeps in more and more. Why did I work my butt off all week long, game planning and practicing if we weren't even going to get a chance to play? It's a whole lot harder to do that after 3 cancellations than it was after 1. I think the other difference with it was that each one's been its own unique set of challenges. The first one was with the problems that we were dealing with internally. It was us not having enough players to go play, so we had to cancel on North Carolina. The second one was Georgia State, calling us at 2:30 on Friday saying, hey, we were about to get on the bus, but we just had 6 positives. And then, hey, oh, by the way, they weren't really positives, and coming back and thanks, bud. Coming back and, having to tell your team that we could have played the game. And then last week it was a conference game, and you just won one. So you got some excitement, you got some energy about it, and then you got to cancel. So everyone has been its own unique set of challenges. But it obviously is more and more difficult the more games you have canceled. Especially, let's be honest, everybody across the country is handling it in a total different way. Testing is different everywhere else in the country. Contact tracing is different everywhere else in the country. How long you have to stay out is different everywhere else in the country. We saw it on ABC on Saturday night, with Nick Saban. Everybody is doing it different. There is no standard because all of this is so new. So what answers do you give to your players when somebody else can do it and you can't? That was
going to be my next question.
And I'm guessing it's a little bit easier after a win, though, because that North Texas game was awesome. That got us really fired up, and we were excited about this Saturday. But now we're excited about FIU now, or UTEP coming up.
Well, I think the morale around the building is different after wins. You wish it wasn't that way. You wish it was consistent. But, everything's a little bit better after you win. So you can push a little bit harder. You can push them a little bit harder in practice. You can really fine-tune some of those details that maybe the attention to detail that we missed at times in the North Texas game. I think that if you're 0-3 and you're sitting here and then, it probably is a little bit more difficult. But you also wish that you could kind of carry that over, that thrill ride, that success, that contagious success. Winning is contagious, that you felt like you were kind of getting into a groove a little bit too. So this puts a halt on that. But to me, it's how do you look at it? I think it gave us an opportunity to get some guys healthier, a Luke Martin, a Vic Tucker, a Marquise Watts, a lot of these guys to give them another week to rehab. It gave us a chance to continue to work on packages for Dom. It gave us a chance to continue to work with this young, inexperienced offensive line that's now gelling together really well. Some of these young backs, our young safeties. I thought our guys did a really good job. And I was also a little bit worried about the hangover of getting back at 5, 6 a.m. Sunday morning. We looked like we were it was pulling teeth a little bit Monday and Tuesday of last week. Everybody was a little extra tired.
So this is the first time we've had a chance to talk to you this season. And one of the things leaving last season and going into this year was special teams. It was a clear weakness last year. Defense, offense were doing their thing. Special teams had some moments where we really had some holes that came out. This year, complete opposite. How much focus have you been putting there? And how happy have you been with the turnaround with the new leadership on that side of things, and how important special teams has been to these first few games we've gotten to play?
Well, look, the fact of the matter is it wasn't Max Thurman's fault that we weren't good on special teams last year. It's my fault. And I told Max that, and I thought that for me, the biggest deal was I had a guy who was coaching 4 units and a third of our football game that was also coaching linebackers and had the game plan for both. Thought that was difficult to do. It was a tough position for me to put Max in. I thought we also needed to add to the talent in the depth. It shows up fastest on special teams, So I think Charles Bacons has done a phenomenal job. I think our attention to detail, our scheme, our practice, the amount of time that we've spent on it is totally different than it was a year ago. And that's on me. That's not that's not on what happened a year ago. That's me not putting enough of an emphasis on it with practice time, meeting time, walkthrough time, all of those types of things. So, and then I think our talent's better. We've got more depth in some areas, so we can run more guys down on kickoff return. We're excited about some of these young guys that may be returning kicks or that's their first game speed rep. It may not be at corner or wide out. It may be on special teams. So I think our talent is better than it was a year ago from top to bottom. And I think when you spend more time on something and you make it more of a priority, guys are more likely to buy in. So we were bad on special teams last year because of me, not because of what a scheme was or a person. But I think Charles Bankins is fantastic. He's done a great job. He's had success everywhere he's been. It's fun to have him back in the building and be able to work alongside of him. Absolutely.
Regardless of the change, it's nice to see the change because it's been a huge turn for us this year.
It is for sure. And we got to continue it. But I think our players have done a really good job.
So let's dive into our next game against UTEP. Anything you think people should be looking out for specifically from the team? And then I know, 1 week at a time, but I'm sure everyone's marked that ACC Duke game on Halloween that they're pretty excited about too. I don't know if there's anything you can tell people about with that as well.
Yeah, I think that if you ask me a guy in this conference right now that probably deserves a vote for Coach of the Year, it would be Dana at UTEP. Winning is contagious, and you can see them. They're playing differently. We're down 21-7 on the road last year at their place, and we were on a roll. Winning was contagious for us. And we're really, really lucky to win that game. You turn the film on them this year, and it's different. It's a top 15 nationally defense that is talented, rolling on all cylinders. I think, and I gotta make sure this is right, but I think they've got maybe 15 to 22 guys on their 2 deep on the defensive side of the ball that are junior college transfers. They've upgraded in a lot of different spots, especially at the defensive line position. I think they play really hard. They're physical. They run well. Their defense is playing at a ridiculously high level. They beat Abilene, they beat Stephen F. Austin, they beat Louisiana Monroe, and then they lost 21-17 at Louisiana Tech, and then Texas beat them. So they could easily be 4-1 right now, and really, really talented football team. Quarterback is a gunslinger, can sling it all over the place. We were watching one yesterday. He threw it like 67 yards, rolling, kind of stepping to his left and throwing it back to the right across his body. Got tremendous arm strength. The wideout that tore us up last year, number 6, it was a freshman. Reminds me a lot of the kid at North Texas that absolutely torched us. They got 2 or 3 wideouts that I think are really good players. Got some big backs, physical backs that are difficult. They had a 100-yard kickoff return against Louisiana Tech. This is not coach speak. This is a good football team, a 3-2 football team that narrowly, that could be just as easily 4-1 with a loss to Texas. So they're good, and we got to have a great week because this will be a 4-quarter battle. I know that's not what y'all wanted to hear. It's not what I wanted to see on film, but they're good. They're really good.
Hey, if we're only going to get a certain number of games this year, I'd like for them all to be battles where we
Agreed.
get, true Trojans coming off the field, swords held high, and victory.
No doubt. You want to beat people at their best, for sure.
Yep. Anything with Duke the week after, or is it right now everything's so uncertain you haven't even started thinking that far ahead?
Well, I mean, and it's not me just being cliche with like one game at a time. We just got to be 1-0. I mean, that sounds.
You got to do it.
Literally, I haven't watched any of Duke. I mean, I've seen them bits and pieces on TV. I know. I mean, playing against David Cutcliffe. I mean, once again, y'all are screwed because you got Will Healy versus David Cutcliffe. We're definitely the underdogs. But it'll be an awesome experience for our guys. I'm glad that game, we got to keep that game. But I haven't watched them. I haven't game plan. I couldn't tell you. I know Chase Bryce is their quarterback because he transferred from Clemson and we played against him a year ago. I know David Cutcliffe is their head coach. I know Ben Albert is their defensive coordinator and coached me in college. But as far as what they're doing schematically or what I can say about them, I mean, I'll be able to tell you a lot more this time next week.
You heard it here first. Will Healy guarantees a win against Duke.
No, you did not hear anything. You need to rewind it and play it again because if you heard that, somebody edited the video.
So pivoting a little off of the team itself, wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Bold Rush, and you're kind of a Charlotte fashion icon. I remember last year or the year before, you put that little C on that sweater and they started selling it in the bookstore per demand. Now, I don't know how much stuff you have to customize with the new stuff out there, thanks to 704 Shop and others. Want to get your take on how are you liking the new brand and the new items that are available?
It's like you just get on the ESPN app and just look at Charlotte versus North Texas. And just the logo is so much cleaner. It looks like it belongs, and I think the gears looked really good. Obviously, I think we're still trying to kind of find our identity, how much do we use the CLT, how much do we use the CPIC, when do we use 49ers, when do we use just the spelling. Obviously, I would look forward to when our field every day that we're running on has the new logo, and I know that's something that obviously COVID got the best of us there. But I really like it. Our players really like it. They feel really good about it. It was fun to be a little bit of a part of it. Steve Luquire is incredible, and just to be able to, be a fly on the wall with Fuller and Mike Hill was a lot of fun. And obviously there are a lot of the decisions that are well above my pay grade, but our players have really enjoyed, the new logo. I think it's crazy the fact that we had to change the color of our numbers. And I did watch the same announcer had Georgia Tech and Clemson this week, so I hope he went nuts about their gold numbers. It's been a work in progress with all of it, and interesting timing rolling out the brand, but I think it's gone really well.
For the record, I'm sure you're busy and don't get time to tune in during the season, but we went nuts about the light gold right after that game. I mean, that was just ridiculous, the amount of airtime that got spent talking about our numbering shades.
Look, if I was calling that game from my own living room and it was raining and foggy, we could have had a spotlight on our numbers and it would have been difficult to see. So I get it. The only thing that I would say is I wish that we would have had a sunny day in Boone, North Carolina, and I don't know if it's ever an issue. But it is hard when somebody's calling a game like this and has to look at those jerseys. I get it. So we made his job a lot more difficult, and he made his voice heard.
Yep. Speaking of the various different things that are occurring this year due to COVID, games getting called from home, The home games that the 49ers will be able to have are going to have students and family only, which is a great decision on our opinion. But given that so many fans aren't going to get to see the team in person this year, what's your message to the fan base, the Niner Nation, on the best way that they can support the team right now?
It's a great question. You know, I mean, I've thought about that a lot. Is like, I feel so disconnected from our fans. I feel so disconnected in a lot of ways from a lot of people on this campus. I mean, this is not my personality. This is killing me. And I don't, you know, that's a bad word to use right now when literally this, I understand how serious this is, right? But like, this is not my personality. I want to be the most accessible football program in the country. I want to build fans in the city of Charlotte. I thought we had a tremendous platform that we could have used to continue to gain some traction on. Look, we ain't got to be your first, but let's be your second. Like, just know our players, know our staff, be a fan of ours. You know, we'll take the commuter fans, you know, I mean, but we're going to provide an accessibility and an experience that nobody else in the country can provide. I want our players to learn how to interact with our fan base. I want our players to be able to go out in the community and get to know people. And all of that right now is shut off. And it is, get the heck away from me, stay away, you know, don't get close. And that's what I'm having to do with the football team when you're trying to get that group to come closer and closer together. So I look forward to the time when we can get everybody back. I can promise you that our guys are working their butt off to make everybody proud. The one thing that I would challenge you is don't let the buzz leave. You know what you're cheering for. You know where this program's heading. Just because we haven't had a chance to be face-to-face or you can't be in the crowd doesn't mean that you can't continue to be excited, pumped up, and continue to create a buzz about this university and this football program. And so we're committed to it. I hope our fans are too. And as soon as we get a chance to celebrate together, it'll be the best celebration we've had yet.
Might have some new fans by the end of the season too, with the number of ESPNU games that are occurring. It's nice to get that national platform.
It's been really good, and we missed a couple opportunities with it too. You know, U was an ESPN opportunity. North Carolina would have been an ESPN opportunity, or at least a national, you know, regionally televised game. Georgia State was an ESPN opportunity. So hopefully we'll continue to have some more. I mean, look, we are still trying to make sure that people understand we have a football program, and we have a good football program at that. So anytime we can raise some visibility for our university and our football program is big. And it's definitely, we've seen the fruits of that labor in recruiting already.
Yeah, and I think the games that were on ESPN, even the losses, we showed up and put an entertaining product on the field that I think ESPN has to notice that for future when we're not in COVID time, hopefully.
I would have liked to have had two different outcomes, but they were not blowouts, which they shouldn't be. Let's play them again on ESPN.
One more question for me real quick. So we've talked to Mike Hill a couple times since COVID started, but one other big change for the UNC Charlotte campus is a new chancellor on the grounds, Chancellor Gabber. Have you had a chance to get to know her well, and what are your thoughts on the new chancellor in town?
I think she's a rock star. I think we're in great hands. And to me, it just kind of seems like at different stages in the university or in an athletic department or what do you need, you know? And you know, to me, Chancellor Dubois was unbelievable. And I think he took it to the next level. And I think what you have now is you have Chancellor Gabber, who is so ready to be the face of this entire community and to take over this city. I know she's a tremendous ally of athletics because she understands what athletics can do for a university. That's our job, to be ambassadors of this university and to make it a more appealing place for people to go to school. That's what football does. That's what playing on ESPN does. That's what winning bowl games does. That's what winning conference championships does. That's what playing in the NCAA basketball tournament does. it makes people want to go to your school because they get a chance to see a community of students that rally around a specific athletic, a sports team. Why do you think Clemson is one of the hottest places to go in the country right now? And Alabama, and I mean, everybody understands what Nick Saban and Dabo Swinney have done for a university. And now Mac Brown's doing it at North Carolina. What they're doing for universities. That's our job. That's what we've got to do. And she's been unbelievably unwavering, supportive of the program. Our players, our leadership group had an opportunity to meet with her when, back in July. She's incredible. She's seen it done at the highest level, just like Mike has, at Auburn or Nebraska, and she did it at an extremely high level. I don't know if you've seen what she built at Toledo, but she obviously had two tremendous coaches. I told her she's in trouble with that. Don't compare me to those two guys. And the facilities she built there they're top notch. And so I'm excited about her. I think she is off the charts, and she's exactly what this university needs.
Awesome. Well, Coach, we really appreciate your time, and you're definitely part of the face of the university in your short tenure so far. I haven't heard like this much buzz about our school in a long time, and everyone seems to know you and knows about our football program. So you're definitely on the right track. And I think once COVID's over, we can keep riding that even higher.
Let's do it, guys. Looking forward to the rest of the season, and appreciate all y'all's support. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.